The budget was, in the end, $1 million?
In the end, yeah, in the end it was $1 million. Fred Roos, our advisor, we met with him early on and he said, so you're talking about $1 million picture? I said, oh, no. I think $350,000. And I remember thinking it'd be about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. But because of the fundraising and because the movie kept getting bigger, it took us 7 years. And in the end, Fred was exactly right. It was $1 million. Yeah.
I mean, I would think that our film, for the budget that we ended up spending on it, was probably a big bargain because, we did a lot of the shoots with very, very small crew, like in some cases, one person. And then when we did get to New Zealand, we were flying with helicopters and airplanes and all of that. Everybody who was involved in that gave us lots of discounts. So, I think it's more of a $2 million movie that got made for $1 million. That's the way I like to think about it.
But in the end, what did that teach you about raising money for a movie? Because I know, looking back on it 7 years prior, do you think you actually would have said yes to it, knowing it wasn't just going to be a few years, it wasn't just going to be 300,000 and all that's gone on? Do you think you would have said yes?
I've often wondered about that because it would seem very daunting. But the film grew in such an organic way, and really we never flagged. I mean, there were some times that were discouraging, and sometimes we were just out of money and nothing was really happening. But having a partner, passing the ball back and forth, and I was always interested in the next thing we were going to do. I mean, and we learned so much. I had done documentaries for television, but I had never done the whole thing soup to nuts myself. And from the research, which I really love, and the writing, to actually shooting airplanes. And I went to Europe for 5 weeks and shot there, and went along the Western Front and over the English Channel. And then the movie just kept getting bigger and bigger and more exciting. And so there'd be another hurdle. And I don't know, we always felt up for it.
Yeah, I mean, my sense throughout making the movie was it was one of those ones of sort of focus and also never taking no for an answer. It's sort of like you have to be so dedicated that people are telling you, no, you can't do that. You're never going to be able to do that. And you basically, in your own mind and in your own spirit, you basically say, yes, I can do that, and I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things of believing in the project and that you will accomplish it and finish it. That was always there. Even when we were at the low points that Darroch mentioned, there's still this thing that's saying, this movie is going to get completed. We are going to finish it. We're going to follow through. And I think that if filmmakers keep that sort of mindset as they work on their films, it will get you to where you want to go. You just have to believe that it's going to happen and keep following that vision.
And it is persistence. It really is just showing up. I mean, there were times when Ron and I would fly to New York, to meet some people, to go to a dinner party, and come back with nothing. And but the cumulative effect of being there and going on, and having a bit to show for the effort you put in, finally pays off. And again, as I said earlier, the film evolves. And it often documentary filmmakers get setbacks and they don't have the money to edit or continue the film, but that time allows the story not only to grow and maybe change, but also to gestate. And then you come up with a much fuller and richer film.
Yeah. And the other piece for young filmmakers or other people starting out is, I would just say, start making the movie. It doesn't matter, like if you have one picture and you're making a documentary, make a 30-second video with that one picture with a voiceover and maybe a little bit of music behind it, but demonstrate that you can actually make something. Because that's the thing that worked for us. We made little pieces of the movie over time. And we would show those pieces to people, and then people would finally say, oh, you guys can actually make a movie, as opposed to just pitching an idea. Because you don't have to have a lot of resources to make a very simple piece that will speak to your vision and what you're trying to do. You know, so start making the movie. That's my suggestion.
I completely agree with that, and there are two schools of thought about that. I've worked on other projects where they said, no, we should get all the money together first, and you know, and then we won't be left hanging, and we'll know that we can do this. And you know, I think you have to prove yourself. I mean, I don't know, Ken Burns doesn't have to, or, you know, very experienced filmmakers, but you know, documentary films are curious individual projects, and they often don't work out the way you've originally thought. And so, yeah, I think it's important to start working.
And sorry, how far were you into the process when you actually got FedEx on board as a sponsor?
FedEx, the story with FedEx is that we were 6 years in.
Wow.
We got an invitation to screen the film at Oshkosh, which is the largest air show in the United States. And we said yes to that, even though we didn't have a finished film. And we didn't have the finishing funds either. So this was one of those times where we said, yeah, we'll be there, we'll have the movie, we can screen it. And then we were like, okay, how the heck are we gonna do this? So
let's call Fred Smith.
So that's when finally our fundraising team broke down and said, yes, let's. And we had been trying to reach out to FedEx over time, but finally it broke through right at the moment that we needed them. And they came in at the very last minute to save us, basically, so that we could finish the film for Oshkosh.
So again, showing up. It sounds like you were planning to go there regardless.
Yeah.
Even if you were going to show a little trailer.
We made the commitment, but
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they helped us out at the end.